finally, it is the finals, the preview for the finals of AFCON 2025, which is being hosted by the Moroccans, and it is between Senegal and the hosts. So, guys, let us have a look at how these guys got here. We'll start with Senegal. So, Senegal beat Botswana 3-0 in the group stages. And then they drew with DRC Congo 1-1. And then they beat Benin 3-0 to book the place in this final. So against Botswana, we had Nicholas Jackson and Diaye as well scoring in that. Then with against DRC, that draw, Sadio Mane scored for them, their 1 goal. And then, of course, for DRC, Vakambo scored. Then in the one against Benin, where they went, crazy riot, we had Sek, Diallo, and Diaye with a penalty late in the game, where they beat Benin 3-0. And then we saw them play Sudan in the last round of 16, and they beat Sudan 3-1. And it was a bit shocking because you remember that's the game when they conceded pretty early and we're like, what's going on here? And me, I was really putting down Sudan. The first game I saw Sudan play at this championship, I was like, this is the worst African team I've ever seen, blah, blah, blah. But they sort of tried their best against Senegal, scored early, but Pape Gueye came and scored he scored 2 and Mbaye scored the other to make it 3. So, yeah, they did a great job there. Then in the quarters, they faced Mali. Now, I knew a lot about Mali because Mali were in the same group as Zambia, and these guys they drew their way to this stage, Mali, but they just could not manage to hold to continue that form. They got a red card early on in the game, and Yaya scored for Senegal in the 27th minute. But despite playing with 10 men, they managed to basically keep Senegal honest. And 1-0 Senegal, they basically went to the semi-final. Now, semi-final again, they went and faced Egypt. It was a very tight game. A very tight game where now you could see like the Egyptians were not really coming out. They were defensively solid. And I think they were pinned back for quite a lot of that game. But Senegal did their thing. Sadio Mane in the 78th minute managed to get hold of the ball in it wasn't even a great position, actually. It was way out, somewhere outside the D, but he basically shot that ball through a couple of players, past a few players into the back of the net. Pristine quality, as you would expect from him. He says that this is his last African Nations tournament and he is desperate to win it. And yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. Now, the host, Morocco. Hey, you guys, you even know I have been on Morocco's back throughout. I've been on Morocco's back. I have whined about the referees. Every single game I've seen Morocco play, I have done that. I can't lie. But one thing I have always maintained is, despite some of these annoying things that I've been seeing, Morocco have been the best, one of the best. Them and Nigeria have been one of the best teams to watch at this tournament. My brother insists that this Morocco team has got a player for every team, and they are going to be able to overcome Senegal because they are just that strong. So I'll believe him because, he was right about the Nigeria game. So I have to give him that. So this is how Morocco got to the final. In the opening match, they took on Comoros and beat Comoros 2-0. They drew with Mali. What did I tell you about Mali? Mali 1-1. Then they beat Zambia 3-0. And yeah, it was a rout that it was quite painful for me to watch. And then in the last round of 16, they played Tanzania. And to be honest, I was a bit surprised at how well Tanzania held their own against Morocco. I didn't even go in to see who was scoring. Give me a second, guys. So, of course, Brahim Diaz and El Kabi scored in the Comoros game. Against Mali, it was a Brahim Diaz penalty and a Sinayoko penalty. Sinayoko is probably my best player this this tournament, really enjoyed it. And then against Zambia, El Kabi scored twice and Brahim Diaz scored the other. So they've literally got 2 outlets for goals so far, and they are really enjoying that. And then guess who scored for Morocco against Tanzania? It was that man from Real Madrid, Brahim Diaz. He's getting a bit of a reputation, isn't it? And then we saw in the quarterfinals, it was Cameroon versus Morocco. The Cameroonians reacted really badly to this loss. And I think, is it Samuel Eto'o has even got a ban. He's facing a 4-match ban from CAF because he went hard. He went harder. He was like, the referees were dodgy, blah, blah, blah. He needs to leave that to me and people like me with no influence. We can whine and moan, but when you're in such a position, you need to pretend to be. It was very emotional. I think that's how you know that people take this football. It's not just a game. It means a lot. And people can lose jobs if you're not, if things are not fair. Regardless, against Cameroon, Brahim Diaz and Saibari scored those goals. Then, of course, we saw what happened against Nigeria only the other day in the semi-final. They were held to a 0-0 draw, and on penalties, they managed to hold their nerves that little bit further. They only missed one of their penalties, and then Nigeria missed 2 of their penalties in a shocking manner. But I think there were 98% Morocco fans in that stadium. It was so overwhelming. But yes, so our hosts, who have done a great job, to be fair, in hosting this tournament so far, basically, went through Nigeria on penalties to book themselves a spot to play against Senegal in the finals, which is going to be taking place on Sunday, the 18th of January at 7 p.m. my time. Tell me, guys, who do you think is going to win? Why am I so biased? Look, let me not lie. I want Senegal to win. I don't want Morocco to win because for all my reasons. But in fact, actually, I forgot something. Let us have a look at how they might line up for this game. Before we go to the predictions, let's have a look at possible lineups. Maybe that will inspire me to have a prediction that is not completely bonkers. And I need to win. I need Senegal to win so my brother can stop feeling superior. So Edouard Mendy in goal. He has done a great job so far. I don't think he's put a foot wrong. A back four of Diatta, Koulibaly, Niakate, and Diouf. Now remember, there might be some players who are not going to qualify due to yellow cards and stuff. I haven't heard anything obvious, but LifeScore are terrible at preparing for African football. A midfield of Diarra, Idrissa Gana Gueye, and Pape Gueye, who have absolutely just killed it in that midfield. And then Iliman Ndiaye, Sadio Mane, and Nicholas Jackson should be able to do that job to win this trophy. And then the Moroccans, our hosts, this is how they lined up against Nigeria, and it's probably going to be how they're going to line up against Senegal. So Bono in goal, who, by the way, did you see that penalty he saved from Chikwueze? Was it Chikwueze? Was it the first one from Onamachi? Chikwueze, I think. That's, like it was going in the middle, like chip in the middle. And anyway, it was a very good save because any other keeper would have overreacted and would have been halfway past the post and couldn't react. So a back four of Mazraoui, Masina. He was so good against Nigeria, Masina. I remember him. Aguad, Hakimi, who we know by Hakimi, that guy, he was on fire against Nigeria. Did you see that wing play? That wing play was crazy stuff. And then Saibari, El Ainui, and El Kanous, Azuli, Brahim Diaz, and El Kabi. Honestly, this is so painful because the more I mention these names, the more I know it's going to be a very tough game for somebody out there. It's either going to be very open, or they're going to be very adventurous, or they're going to be tight and probably cancel each other out in the middle. But I want to see like a 3-1 game. I want somebody to open up and let us see an exciting game. We don't want to go to penalties in the final. We don't want any craziness. I mean, if they go to finals, make sure it's an exciting game. Because despite Nigeria, Morocco going to finals, I enjoyed that 0-0. It was very interesting to see the dynamics, the midfield battles, the defensive battles, all that craziness was good. So I want Senegal to win as revenge for that humiliation meted out to Zambia. But I am not vested. If Morocco win, I'm going to basically clap them off the field because they would have done it and they would have deserved it. Because to be honest, despite all the things we have complained about them, where they play and apply themselves, it doesn't take away their level, their ability. Despite the officiating, their standards should not even be diminished. We all know, all of us who have lost to Morocco, we know we had a puncher's chance. You go there, you get lucky, and maybe you'll see another day. It's not because though they were being favored so that they would do. No, they're already winning. It's just that the referees are so dumb, some of them, that they think they are probably going to get some sort of prize because, they are now the darlings of CAF, aren't they? In Morocco, they might be hosting 2028. They're hosting the Women's African Nations in March. So basically, I think the referees just have got the wrong approach to this thing. But I'm not blaming Morocco themselves as a team. I think even without that help, they would have absolutely smashed all of us the way they have done it. So all credit to them. Please do not take it as I'm a hater. I am a little bit, but that's only purely out of envy and jealousy that my own team cannot even compete on the level. So yeah, that is the thing, guys. So I am going to go for a Morocco win. I want Senegal to win, but I'm going to go for a Morocco win. They'll win it. Even if it has to go to penalties, I think Morocco are going to do it. There's just too much. There's too much going for them. They've got the rub of the green, as you call it, the rub of the green. They've got goodwill from, they've got very good, powerful friends. They've got very powerful friends. And they've got very skilled players from the back to the front. Their players are magnificent. Senegal will have to do some crazy witchcraft, which I'm happy to help them with. Call me Senegal. I know some people, but no, seriously, I don't. But yeah, I'm going to go for a Senegal win. I'm going to go for a Morocco win. I think they're going to lift this trophy, and I wish Senegal all the best. And if they do it and I am wrong, I am absolutely happy. I'll be happy to hear that. But I think realistically, as somebody who has seen the last 6 games that they have played, I can tell you 100% that Morocco are the favorites to win this game on Sunday. Let me know what you think, you guys. Am I being too generous? I mean, we've all seen it. I can't think that we are, I think Morocco are winning for me. Best team at the tournament so far. They've looked more lively. Senegal have been fantastic as well, In fact, I didn't even count Senegal as being anywhere near being able to win this tournament until I saw the lineup. I said, wait a minute, guys. How couldn't I have considered Senegal or Ivory Coast, who, by the way, crashed out? But regardless, guys, please do not forget to leave a comment. Tell me who you are going to go for. We need to be able to come back and account for ourselves. That is the way it goes, yeah? Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope I at least have got something right at last. And my wish for Zambia to win this tournament is not going to come to pass, but definitely we're going to win the Women's African Nations Cup in March. Yeah, so that's the way it is. Yeah, thank you guys for joining me. I'll be talking to you after the Nigeria-Egypt 3rd place playoff. We'll have a little catch up before then about that match, as well as the final that's going to be taking place the next day. So yeah, thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate your support. Please continue following this page and encouraging me. I love it. Right, talk soon. Bye-bye.